If you've been ghosted, rejected, or left hanging way too many times, you might think you've moved on, but your abandonment wounds don't just vanish because you shove them into an emotional equivalent of a junk drawer. No, if you don't deal with them, they will absolutely deal with you. Sabotage relationships, crippling self-doubt, people-pleasing to the point of exhaustion, and that deep aching fear of being alone. Ever wonder why you keep attracting unavailable partners? Why you feel like you're too much for some people? Why no matter how much you give, it never feels like it's enough? This is your abandonment wounds running the show. But guess what? You're about to take your power back. Buckle up, because we're breaking it all down right now. So what actually happens when you pretend these wounds don't exist? They don't just chill in the background like an old playlist. You know, the one that you swear you're over, but somehow keeps making you cry in the car. Nope, they sneak into your life like emotional ninjas and start wrecking things when you least expect it. Your brain is running some outdated, glitchy software. People leave. I am not enough. I must prove my worth. So what do? You overgive. You overthink. You apologize for existing. And when someone actually shows up with real love, you side-eye them like they're selling a pyramid scheme because deep down you don't believe that love is something you can actually keep. Next, you chase emotionally unavailable people. Oh look, another emotionally distant human who treats you like an option. Why do you keep picking these people? Because your subconscious is running a sick little experiment. If I can just get this one to stay, maybe I'll undo my past wounds. You fear being alone to an unhealthy degree. There's a difference between enjoying company and clutching onto relationships like a sinking ship. If you're tolerating toxicity just to avoid being alone, if you jump from one relationship to another with no breathing room, or if the thought of a solo Friday night makes you break out in a cold sweat, your abandonment wounds are doing donuts in your brain. Ignoring these wounds isn't just screwing up your relationships. It's creeping into every corner of your life, like glitter after a DIY project gone wrong. It affects your self-worth. Unhealed abandonment wounds make your self-worth take a hit after hit. Every rejection feels like a flashing neon sign that says you're not enough. No matter how much validation you get, it's never quite enough. Like trying to fill a cup with a gaping hole in the bottom. It sabotages your happiness. Your brain is wired to chase what's familiar, not necessarily what's good for you. So if abandonment is what feels normal, you'll unconsciously recreate situations that make you feel abandoned. Ever notice how you push people away the second they get too close, or how you assume the worst before anything even happens? That's your wounded inner child throwing a temper tantrum. It creates anxiety and codependency. You analyze texts like they hold the secrets of the universe. You contort yourself into whatever version of perfect will make people stay. It's exhausting, and it keeps you trapped in a state of constant anxiety, always waiting for the other shoe to drop. But there's good news. You can heal. Deep breath, because the best part, you're not doomed. Healing is absolutely possible, and no, you don't need to move to the woods and find yourself unless you want to. That's my jam. It starts with awareness, and I'll give you the exact steps you need after I share one of my client stories. Jess, not a real name, was the queen of pretending she had her shit together. To the outside world, she was thriving. Cute apartment, great job, social life that looked solid on Instagram, but inside, a whole mess. She was overthinking, and she was falling for emotionally unavailable men. Her last situationship, Chad, yes, that's his actual name. All the red flags were there from the start. Chad was charming, mysterious, and as emotionally present as a box of rocks. Jess bent over backward for this guy, canceling plans, rewriting texts 17 times before sending, waiting for the appropriate amount of time before double texting so she didn't seem too needy. And what did Chad do? He breadcrumbed her, fed her just enough attention to keep her hooked, but never enough to make her feel secure. But Jess didn't want to give up. If I just show him how good I am, how much I care, she thought he'll finally see my worth and choose me. Nope. Instead, Chad ghosted her on her birthday. Her damn birthday. She spent the night crying into a bottle of wine, scrolling through old messages, trying to figure out what she did wrong. This event hit her hard. This wasn't about Chad. This wasn't even about the 10 other Chads before him. This was about her. Why she was constantly chasing people who treated her like an afterthought. Why did she keep repeating this cycle, expecting a different outcome? Because her abandonment wounds were running the show. At night, Jess made a choice. She was done. Done with chasing, done with overgiving, done with the idea that love was something she had to work for. We started identifying her core beliefs in coaching. Turns out she'd been carrying around some serious things like, I'm only lovable if I'm useful, and people always leave, so I have to make them stay. No wonder she was exhausted. Then we worked on reprogramming her subconscious. She swapped the I'm unlovable playlist for I am worthy of real, healthy love. She started visualizing the kind of relationships she actually wanted instead of settling for the bare minimum. And most importantly, she learned to self-soothe and set boundaries. No more pouring her energy into people who couldn't even text back. No more tolerating crumbs when she deserved the whole damn meal. Fast forward 6 months, Jess is thriving for real. No more chasing, no more waiting around for people to validate her. She became the kind of person who knew without a doubt that she was enough. That's when she finally attracted someone who treated her the way she deserved, because she treated herself that way first. The point of the story, healing your abandonment wounds, isn't about getting the person who left to come back. It's about becoming the person who doesn't need them to. And if Jess can do it, so can you. So here are those healing steps I promised you. First, identify your core beliefs. First step, figure out what outdated nonsense is running your life. Do you believe you're unworthy of love? Do you believe that people always leave? That you have to shrink yourself to be loved? These beliefs didn't come out of nowhere, but guess what? You don't have to keep them. If this is hitting a little too close to home, I've got something for you. I have a core beliefs checklist that will help you pinpoint exactly what's keeping you stuck. It's free, it's in the description, and it's a total game changer. Next, reprogram your subconscious mind. Your brain is like a playlist. If I'm unlovable has been your top track for years, it's going to feel like the truth. But you can change the playlist through affirmations, visualizations, and subconscious reprogramming. You can rewrite the story. And yes, you can do this while you sleep, literally. Check out my subconscious reprogramming sleep tracks linked below. And 3, learn to self-soothe and set boundaries, as healing isn't about finding someone who won't leave. It's about becoming someone who knows they'll be okay even if they do. You've got to build self-trust. That means learning to comfort yourself instead of outsourcing your emotional stability, setting boundaries like a boss, and creating a life that feels fulfilling with or without a partner. And if this video called you out, with love and light of course, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment. Which abandonment pattern are you ready to break? Let's heal this together. See you in the next one.